Welcome to Redefining Balance for Working Moms podcast, where we believe life balance is possible. Yes, even for you. You might just have to redefine what it looks like for yourself. I'm your host, fellow working mom, and founder of Your Life Rocks, Jenny Stemmerman. Each week, I'll bring you practical, real-life tips to help you focus on the things that matter most in life and be the best version of yourself in every area that God has called you to. Ready to redefine what balance looks like for you in your life? Let's go. Hey there, welcome to the show. I am so glad that you're here to hang out with me today. If you are listening to this podcast episode right when it goes live, we have just started October, and October is such an important month for us as a working mom. Now, let me tell you why. I feel like October is such an important month for us as working moms because we're starting into the last 90 days of the year for our career, which is huge for helping us set us up for success. Number two, it's kind of the last month that there's not like huge holiday craziness, sanity happening. And so, we kind of can take a little bit of a breath in. Not that we don't have anything going on this month. I mean, there's a lot always going on for us. But, next month we have Thanksgiving and we get into Christmas holiday and just all of that craziness. So it's kind of like the calm before the storm. And number three, October is just awesome. It's such an awesome time because, the kids are already back in school. So we're starting to settle into some routines and the weather is changing. And I just love it. I think it's a precious time of the year for us to really just rejoice in everything that God is doing, rest, breathe, get our second win so we can finish the year strong. And that has never been more important than this year, 2020. With everything that has come our way. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little restless. I'm feeling like I am ready to start living normally again. Not in a new normal, really living normally again. And what I mean by that is by living with intention. The first part of this year, really all up until this point of the year, from probably, mid-February on, I feel like it's been really surviving by the seat of our pants, and things are always constantly changing, and really trying to plan and being intentional with our lives has been a luxury that we haven't necessarily gotten to do a whole lot with. And so I myself am so ready to get back to that, which is why we're going to be talking about what we're talking about today, which is a little bit of a focus on our career. Because if you're like me, with everything flying at us and really, like I said, living by the seat of our pants and not necessarily being intentional, the goals that I've set for my career have really kind of gone out the window because things are constantly changing and I'm having to constantly adjust. And it's purely about just getting through the most demanding things, the things that are absolutely necessary to get done, and not really having time to do a lot of the other things that maybe I would want to do, the things that would have a bigger impact on growth or my future. But that doesn't mean that that is the way the end of the year needs to be. Because like I said, it is a very pivotal time for us to be focusing in on our careers. One, if you work corporately, we are coming up on end of the year reviews, which are salary talks, budget talks, all of that kind of stuff. And so the things that we do in the next couple months will be remembered more than the things that we did back early on in the year. Now, hopefully all of your wins you have documented so you can bring that stuff to the table. But the things that we're doing over the course of the next couple months really can be strong for us in negotiating a higher salary, promotion, flexibility in our work, you name it, whatever it is that you're after for your career. The things that we're doing now can help contribute to that in a big, big way. If you're newer to the show, I want to welcome you and hope that you hit subscribe. If you've already subscribed to the show, if you could leave a review, that would just mean the world to me because it helps other people find the show. I know it seems kind of weird, but the way that it all works, apparently, some people say, no one really knows how podcasts work as far as the algorithm and getting it in front of more people and ranking higher up. But some people are saying that the reviews certainly do help. And so if you already are subscribed, if you could leave a review, then that would be amazing. Otherwise, just sharing it. That's my biggest thing, is just share it, because we all have other working mom friends that might be struggling with some things that we're going to be talking about today that could be really helpful for them. And so if you want to share the show, awesome. If you haven't yet subscribed, do that. But we're going to just jump right in because we've got some things to cover. This is one of those episodes you're going to want to grab your notebook. We're going to go through some things, and I'm going to have this full outline for the 3 steps that we're going to be talking about today to really help you revitalize your career for the last part of the year over on yourliferocks.com. You can click on podcasts and you'll find this episode there, and you can find everything that we're going to be talking about today, all of the external links to previous shows that I'm going to be referencing. If you're in Life Balance membership, I'm going to be referencing some career tools that are available to you. And so I will link to those so you know exactly where to find them in there, as well as some other resources that we're going to be talking about. Now, typically on the show, we have different experts on in the different 8 areas of life that as working moms, we're all working to grow in and balance our lives around. And today is career. And really, this is something that I'm passionate about, is planning in all areas of life, but especially for our careers. Now, I do want to put a special disclaimer out there. If you hear groaning or whining in the background, it is my dog. I don't know what is going on with her today, but she does not want to leave my side, and I don't have the heart to kick her out of my home office where I'm recording. So she is sitting right next to me, and she's loud. She is super loud, and I always tell her she's rude for being so loud. But anyway, if you hear those noises, it's my dog Bingo. Now, like I said before at the top of this show, we've been dealing with a lot of things just kind of flying at us, especially when it comes to our work. A lot of us have been kind of shifted to working at home. If that's not something we're used to doing, that's a big adjustment, especially when the kids are there with you. And if you're not working from home, I am pretty sure you probably have some policy changes or new projects that have kind of taken priority, new things that are just not the same as it used to be. And it can throw a huge wrench into everything. And in a perfect world, we would have adequate time to really adjust to these things and only really being faced with one big change at a time. But that's just not the case this year. And quite frankly, it is exhausting. But like I said, as time has gone by, we've gone through the last few months, I'm feeling ready to start being intentional again. And I am done with things just being thrown at me. Now, of course, life is going to happen. We can't predict the future, but I'm just kind of done with the drama of it all, quite frankly. And I'm ready to start being intentional and kind of taking control over these different areas, because otherwise it is not good for my mind. It's not good for my emotions. It's not good for the bigger vision that I have for all the areas of my life. And then that is especially true for my career. So how do we get the intentionality back? How do we kind of grab a hold of the reins and say, no more? We are now going in a different direction. So let's talk about this. So step number 1, like I said before, we have 3 steps for you today. Number 1 is to reevaluate your career. Yeah, we're going there. Now is the perfect time, you guys, to be reflecting on where you want to go compared to where you are. I know for a lot of people in our community, and I've heard from a lot of our members specifically, asking for prayer because they're finding that where they worked before doesn't necessarily suit them. Or throughout this pandemic and everything that's happened, God has really shown them that maybe they like working from home, or maybe they've always wanted to work from home. And now that they're like, no, I need to get back to the office. And the office has said, we're now all going to just work from home. And you're like, no, this is not working for me. Whatever it is for you, I think this is a good time for you to just reflect. Like, are you, 1, doing the things that you feel like you should be doing, where you're using your talents, doing what you love, all of those things. But then 2, are you doing it in the right place? Are you working for the right company that's providing the right structure for your goals that you have for your life and who you want to be and where you want to be doing what it is that you love doing? A big mistake that we can make is to settle and think that this is all there is. Like, whatever it is, I should just be grateful to have this job. I should just be grateful that this company wants me. But I believe that God can do big things right where you are. But I also believe that He might have something else for you. If He's planted that seed in your heart of, this is not where I want to be, that might be the beginning of something new. But we have to kind of start to do action items in order to see if that is true, to really kind of test it. Is this what God would have me do? Would He have me look for another job or be in a different place? A few years back, I had an author on my show. Her name is Catherine Solomon, and she wrote a book called Ambition Redefined. It's a phenomenal book. In fact, I have a copy. I might just be giving it away over on Instagram or on Facebook. I'm not sure. So check out both places. But I do have an extra copy of that book, and it might be a huge blessing to someone who's listening right now. So I think I should give that away. Anyway, so I'll link to the show in our show notes page on yourliferocks.com of when she was on our show previously. But Catherine, she specializes in helping women find flexible work. She's a high believer, just like I am, that women have gifts and talents that they can give into the workforce, that the money that they earn can be a force of good for their family, and they can still balance it all and be a fantastic mom, a fantastic wife, and do awesome things in their careers. And on her website, she has so many great resources for people that are looking for flexible work, including job sites, headhunters, people who specialize in helping working moms find flexible work. It's incredible things that she has available to us on there. And I can attest that there are so many opportunities out there for careers and for companies. I think it's important that we kind of differentiate those two, because you could have the same career in different companies and your job can look very different, right? So it's important that we kind of think about that in two different ways. But if you can imagine it, you can find it. You can find a job that kind of fits what it is that you want. Maybe not to a complete T. I mean, maybe. I don't know. You might have a really wild imagination. But I can attest to you, I have found jobs. My last job that I had corporately, I worked 100% from home, very minimal travel, because that is what I decided. Like when I went into the job search, actually, when they contacted me to come and work for them, I was like, well, look, I can't travel a ton because previously I've always traveled a ton and I was kind of done with that. I need to work primarily from home. These are my salary requirements. And honestly, they were able to fulfill a majority of that, enough of it that I was like, okay, I love doing what they want me to do. They kind of hit the big boxes for me, so I will go for it. Now, I understand I'm completely blessed that someone approached me and I was able to kind of go through that process, but honestly, those opportunities are out there. If you seek them, even if you pray for them, God will open up those doors for you. So if you're not where you want to be, now might be a good time to start praying for a change, to start looking for a change, and imagine what could be possible for you if you're just brave enough to think about it. All right, number 2, if you are where you want to be, reflect back to where your goals were at the beginning of the year, before everything was turned upside down. And I think it's important to see, is that still a viable goal? It might be. It might be something completely viable. You might have been on track for it all year long and kept your focus and didn't get distracted by everything else that's happening in this world. And if that's you, awesome. But I know for me, I had to actually go back and look to see what was my goal at the beginning of the year, because I've been so focused on crisis mode that I honestly couldn't even remember the goals that I set for my career at the beginning of the year. And here's the thing about goals. When we set a goal for ourselves, and this is true in our career, but also for all of the other areas of our life. If you're going through the new Life Balance course right now inside of Life Balance membership, we're doing a heavy focus on goals for all 8 areas of our life and a lifestyle goal. But here's the thing with the goal that we set, it's like usually just a short little, one sentence. It's a very surface goal. But the underneath of that goal is a deeper root. It's the reason why we have that goal, right? And so, for example, if you had the goal to get promoted in your career, or at least be in a position for promotion when one comes available, that's the surface goal. But why would that be your goal? It might be that you're searching for extra security, or the need or want for more pay, or the stimulation that comes from extra responsibilities and the variety of work. Like you just want to do something different than what you've always been doing. And the point of this is that there are multiple different paths on the surface to get to where you want to go below the surface, that deeper root reason why you've selected that goal. Usually that root reason doesn't change, but we can change that surface goal, because there's a number of different paths that we can take in order to get what it is that we need. And so if you're looking at your goal and you're thinking, this goal just doesn't even make sense anymore with the state of the world and the state of where I am in my career, where my company is, like all of this stuff, then maybe it's time to really think about, well, why did I set that goal? What was the root reason behind it? And is there another way that I can still fulfill that root reason? And give yourself permission. It is totally okay to change your goals. In fact, I highly recommend refocusing your goal for the last 90 days of the year. Your goal might be just to get things cleaned up for a fresh start for the new year, and that is okay. It's important that we really think about what it is that we need right here, right now, and make that our goal. All right, so number 1 and number 2 are highly thinking, right? Like it's stuff that we have to analyze and think about and pray about. Number 3 is getting into action. It's really about planning out your execution. Inside the Life Balance membership in the resources section under career, so we have a resources section that has all 8 areas of life and a ton of great resources for all of those areas. But in there under career, there's a worksheet that helps you plan out your SOPs for your career. And it really starts with like bigger picture, like 5-year vision, and then kind of breaks it down to your annual goals, what you need to do quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, in order to help you contribute to a path in your career of where you want to go and setting up those strong habits. Now, when you decide on what your new goal is for the last 90 days of the year, it's important that you map it out. Think about the milestones that you want to be at monthly. What tasks do you need to do monthly in order to cross the finish line of where you want to go? What tasks do you need to do weekly and preparing for your career on a weekly basis? And even daily, like thinking about your check-ins and your habits and the things that you're doing. Is it going to move you closer to your goal, or is it going to keep giving you the same that you've kind of had all year of just, treading water and hoping you don't drown? Because that's not a place to be. That is exhausting. And the whole point of this is that we get out of that place, that we can kind of take ourselves out of that fishbowl where we've been treading water, sit on the edge and have that 10,000 feet view. Now, if you need help mapping it all out, now might be a really good time for you to get started with the Life Balance membership so that you can get the full planning sheets. And it comes with the training video as well. So it really helps you map all of this out for yourself for your career. Now, over on our YouTube channel, I recently did a video showing you how I organize the things that need to be done at work to stay really super duper productive. And I walk through a little bit of what I do monthly, weekly, and daily, and I include the systems. So you can screen share the systems that I use, the products that I use in order to keep myself really organized. And I also did a write-up on what those systems are inside of our fall lifestyle guide in the Your Life Rocks app. Now, if you don't yet have the Your Life Rocks app, down below in whatever podcast player you're listening to, there are links of where you can download it in the Apple Store or the Google Store. And there are so many great things available to you inside the app. For one, all of our podcasts are there. So if you are looking for a particular show, it's easy access for you right inside of that. Plus, we have our free weekly success planning course and our planning tool that's completely free, and our lifestyle guide. So this lifestyle guide used to be every month. So you can see some past monthly issues. We've moved it to every quarter. And so you can kind of see what we've had in there. But the new fall quarterly lifestyle guide is chock full of incredible things. Lindsay Young provides tips to help you get better sleep. So that is in there for your health. Kimberly Walton provided a really great way of being more productive and getting better results in your marriage. So that is something you for sure want to be checking out. And then in our career section for that, I have listed out all of these systems. So many people will message me when I just kind of mention, one of the systems that I'm using. They'll say, what was that you've said? And where do I find that? All of that is linked right inside of our lifestyle guide. So you want to make sure that you check that out as well. Bottom line, when we're talking about these 3 things, number 1, let's just review real quick. Checking in on where you are to make sure that that is still where you want to be. Number 2, checking into your goals to make sure that's still where you want to go. And number 3 is really planning out your execution. Map it out, task it out. When I say task it out, I mean do a brain dump list of everything that would need to get done in order for you to get to that end goal. That might be things like conversations you need to have, information you need to research, or just blatant tasks that have to get done in order for you to reach those goals. Now, one of the steps that's not necessarily listed in here because it kind of goes along the lines with everything is just to be praying. Pray for God to open up doors for you in this last 90 days of the year, that He would make things crystal clear for you. If He is wanting you to make a change, that He make that very clear. I know so many times I'm like, I feel like God wants me to change jobs or change careers or do this different, but does He really? I'm not sure. Clarity is key here. And so I would encourage you to just dive into the Word and He will make it clear for you. His Word always does. And so I just pray that He go before you in everything that you're doing in your career, that He blesses you in hugely mighty ways. But here we are, the last 90 days of the year. And we've been talking a lot about how it's very important in our career. But I think for a lot of us right now, I know especially for me, this desire of wanting to take control of everything that's going on and really be intentional again. Not just take things as they come flying at you, but really be thinking about, what do I want to have in this life? Because when we can get really clear on what it is that we want, it kind of goes back to the surface goal versus what's beneath that goal, right? When we're clear on what we want beneath the goal itself can always be changing. But those values and principles and the desires of our heart, those do not change. And so when we can stay checked in with that, it makes saying yes and no to things that do come flying at us that much easier. And that's the point of being intentional, is it's not being perfect. It's not about checking off every single box and hitting every single goal. It's truly about staying true to our compass. And that way, when things come flying at us that are out of our control, this year has been an exceptional example of that. And hopefully it doesn't continue to be this year, but it might. Who knows? Only God knows what's coming ahead of us. But when we can choose to say, I am going to anchor in, find my strength and my foundation in Jesus and the values, makes everything else so much easier. Stress is a lot less. So again, I hope that you found these tips helpful. I hope that you share this episode with a friend. And we have some awesome episodes coming up. So if you haven't done so already, make sure that you hit subscribe. We did a poll in our Facebook community, and I asked everyone, what podcast episodes do you need to hear right now? And we have gotten a lot of responses, and I'm so pleased to see that some of the responses are episodes that we already have planned with some great experts coming up for this month, but then also as we move into November and our Holiday Sanity series. So I'm super excited for the things that we have coming up for this podcast and over on our YouTube channel as well. On YouTube, we have our podcast episodes that go live every single Tuesday, and we break out the podcast into the different life areas so that you can binge listen to career episodes or parenting episodes or marriage or faith or really whatever area of life that you need to get that tips and inspiration from. You can find all of that over on our YouTube channel. And then on Thursdays, we release a completely different video to just give you some extra help as a working mom, because I don't know about you, but my hand is raised high. I could definitely use some extra help. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And until next week, keep building a life that rocks. Bye. Hey, just because the episode's over doesn't mean we have to stop hanging out. Head on over to Instagram and follow me there. You can find me at your.life.rocks. Or if you're more of a Facebook kind of girl, join our community of working Christian moms just like you. You can search Your Life Rocks over on Facebook and connect with us there. And if you're ready to truly create lasting balance and get results in your life, maybe it's time for you to join Life Balance Membership. Download the Your Life Rocks app in iTunes or in Google Play. You can upgrade to the membership right inside the app. And if you're looking for more resources to help you create more balance, head on over to yourliferocks.com.